Well, I want to first make it very clear, that my name is Ato Mwando. I came here this evening with my brother, Dozie Wanko, who happens to have contested for the Federal House. And when we got here, because the information we got was that some people were coming here to try and make away with the result. So we arrived here. Luckily, on getting here, we saw Honorable Ekunife, Chike Udenze, Jakada, and many others, from the PDP. And they were here. There was so much commotion, getting in here. There was fighting, all sorts of things. Some people were, dragging one of the, local government chairman, deputy chairman, who was here. They were dragging him all over the place, trying to, to beat him up in the process. So eventually, the police people who were around stopped what was going on. So the things calmed down. At that point, Honorable Ekunife and Chike Udenze left, the building where this thing was happening, and they went and stood outside. And Honorable Ekunife started making phone calls, and eventually soldiers, policemen started coming in vehicles, and they started beating up, people, and eventually they carried result sheets, out of this Aniocha local government headquarters. And this thing is unacceptable in modern day Nigeria. It should not be happening. And we say no to this kind of politics. It should not happen. Not in Anambra State. We reject it in totality. Thank you.
So please, we heard, yes. Sorry, we heard that they kidnapped the deputy chairman.
Yes, they bundled him into a vehicle. There were some military people who here, they beat him up, they bundled him into a vehicle, and they carried him away with the result sheet. Can you believe such brazen, action, unabated, even with a personal career following them behind, as if they were going to war? In a civilian regime, is unacceptable.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it's a normal thing that PDP does in Anambra State. When they lose the elections, they resort to the gambling, and they will be protected by the police and the army. This time around, we have resolved that we're not going to accept this. The elections that were conducted yesterday, Apga won everywhere. And since yesterday, with all the major stakeholders of the PDP, they've been moving around with soldiers and policemen to change the results of the election. But we have the polling booth results of this election that were conducted yesterday, both for the Senate and House of Representatives. And we are clear that we won the elections everywhere.
That's right.
I don't want anybody to take to the streets and begin to destroy properties and so on and so forth. What they have done here is exactly what they did here in 2003 when Apga won the governorship election, and they left the polling booths level and went ahead to write concocted figures to declare PDP candidates winners. Here, this one will fail again. We have the polling booth results of all the elections, and I can assure you that PDP candidates for the National Assembly election in Anambra State lost woefully in this election.
That's right.
And we are going to prove to them that Anambra State is not a state that you can treat like a guinea pig that you used to test your drugs, the efficacy of your drugs. We're going to resist this without inciting anybody to take to the streets to demonstrate or do anything. These mandates the people of Anambra State gave Apga candidates in these National Assembly elections, all of them will be recovered. And it's a huge shame that the government of Nigeria will empower a young woman of 42 years of age with police and army to ravage the state in the name of national politics. we're going to stop this. We're going to stop this. As I leave you here now, we're going to take immediate actions to reverse this huge fraud called elections in Anambra State. Apart from the fact that INEC had an epileptic start last year for elections, PDP submitted a list of ad hoc staff to INEC, and the Resident Electoral Commissioner, Edwin Watarari, accepted all these INEC ad hoc staff from PDP candidates in the 3 territorial zones. He should be preparing to resign from his office. He should resign immediately. This is not the way to serve a country. We suffered for many years to come out from the traumatic experiences of 2003 and 2007 when we talk about rigging elections. I never imagined that Jonathan will spend 4 years here, and on his quest for a second term, he will unleash terror on Anambra State using self-seeking politicians. They're not wishing him a victory in the election. They want to use his office to impose themselves on the people of Anambra State without their votes. Apga will resist this, but I'm telling our supporters that true to my character, I don't subscribe to violence. We have the results of the election. The way I told him in 2003 that he would leave office as governor because he didn't win the election, that's the way all these people will quit. And good enough, the Electoral Act has said within 180 days, that is 6 months, all this will be over. All of them will be out of wherever they are.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Sorry, once more. Sir, were you aware what happened this morning at Njikota? The group of people, PDP men, without Eze came to Njikota. Are you aware about this?
I'm terribly disappointed that a man I looked up to as a mentor and a good friend can descend to rampaging election collection centers. Yesterday he was at Umudiaka for 2 hours rigging an election, a multi-billionaire in Nigeria. And today he descended to Njikoka local government to falsify results. Whatever drove him to this ignoble action cannot be explained. But I think this is not the way other rich men play politics in Nigeria. We have Dangote, we have Otedola, we have Maideribe. All these people do not go to polling booths. And for my revered big brother to do this, I think he has diminished himself. And the only thing we can say today is that God is ultimate judge to all human actions. For them to continue to foist fraud on Anambra State, to play servitude to federal authorities. I am Chief Victim. I've been leading Anambra State in a struggle, and Igbo people in a struggle of redefining ourselves. I assured them that within weeks and months, they will begin to count their losses. These things cannot be sustained. People came out yesterday, waited for 5 hours to be accredited. The card readers did not work, and finally there was a directive that manual accreditation would be done, and they latched onto that to rig the election. After Apga has won the elections, landslides across the states. So I leave it to God, but as human beings, we shall do all things humanly possible to redress this injustice.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.